Long ago, a young samurai carried enormous dreams of mastery, honor, and future greatness. He imagined victories, respect, and legacy, yet avoided daily training whenever discomfort appeared. Each morning he planned tomorrow, believing preparation mattered more than difficult, repetitive practice. His ambition felt alive through thinking, planning, and visualizing success without present effort. Avoidance disguised itself as patience, while days passed without sharpening skill or discipline. He told himself greatness required perfect timing, energy, and inspiration before beginning training. Years moved forward quietly, while the sword beside him gathered dust, untouched and unused. The samurai spent hours imagining future greatness while avoiding the strain of daily drills. Dreams felt productive because they created excitement without demanding discomfort or sustained effort. Planning sessions replaced practice, giving the illusion of movement while progress remained frozen. Each plan soothed anxiety, allowing delay to feel responsible rather than avoidant or fearful. Ambition without action slowly hardened into stagnation, disguised as thoughtful preparation over time. He believed effort would come later once confidence, clarity, and perfect conditions appeared. Meanwhile, skill decayed because intention alone never sharpens a blade through repetition. Seasons passed and younger samurai surpassed him through quiet, relentless daily training routines. Their movements grew precise, confident, and efficient, while his remained hesitant, untested, incomplete. Witnessing their progress triggered discomfort, exposing the cost of delayed practice clearly. He realized talent mattered less than repetition, performed consistently regardless of mood. His dreams stayed vivid, yet his abilities reflected neglect and avoidance over years. The gap between desire and capability widened, becoming impossible to ignore anymore. This realization hurt deeply because responsibility could no longer be shifted elsewhere. He identified himself as a dreamer, which protected his ego from daily failure feelings. This identity offered comfort while quietly excusing inaction and postponing uncomfortable effort daily consistently. Wanting success felt safer than doing work that risked exposure and disappointment. Public failure. The dreamer identity blocked action because action threatened the comforting self-image he cherished. Avoidance preserved pride, while quietly sacrificing growth, discipline, and earned confidence over long years. This psychological gap widened daily, separating ambition from behavior through subtle rationalizations and excuses. Until identity shifted, effort remained optional, and progress permanently postponed by fear and comfort. Talking about goals rewards the brain, releasing dopamine without requiring real effort today immediately. This neurological reward creates satisfaction, mimicking progress, while nothing concrete actually changes inside behavior. The samurai felt motivated after speaking plans, though his skills remained untouched by practice. Motivation became an illusion because expression replaced execution inside his disciplined imagination without training. Each conversation about success reduced urgency, making delay feel productive and acceptable over time. The brain cannot distinguish progress from planning until results appear through action daily consistently. Thus, talking satisfied ambition temporarily, while real capability waited for disciplined repetition over years. Massive ambitions created pressure, making the first step feel impossibly heavy and intimidating. Thinking about ultimate mastery overwhelmed his nervous system, triggering avoidance disguised as preparation. Big goals magnified uncertainty, making mistakes feel catastrophic rather than instructive or temporary learning. Delay felt safer than starting because starting exposed limits, weakness, and visible imperfection publicly. The mind postponed action, hoping future clarity, confidence, or motivation would arrive magically later. Large visions increased distance between intention and behavior, freezing momentum before it began. Thus, ambition itself became the reason effort never entered. Daily disciplined reality. An elder samurai explained greatness grows through small actions, repeated without emotional drama. He taught mastery is not born from intensity, but from steady, unremarkable daily commitment. Each strike, each step, each breath compounds, quietly shaping ability over time consistently. This wisdom reframes success from heroic moments into humble practices performed patiently daily. Small repetition removes intimidation because effort feels manageable and psychologically safe immediately. Consistency replaces inspiration, allowing progress without waiting for perfect feelings or energy. Through this lens, greatness becomes accessible to anyone willing to show up repeatedly. The samurai learned training happens whether motivation appears or disappears entirely without discussion. Discipline meant practicing during fatigue, boredom, doubt, and uninspired ordinary days consistently. Waiting for inspiration surrendered control to emotions that change unpredictably throughout life daily. Daily discipline anchored behavior in routine rather than temporary feelings or enthusiasm spikes. This approach removed negotiation, making action automatic and emotionally neutral over time. Training became non-negotiable, like breathing, eating, or sleeping, regardless of internal resistance. Through discipline, effort stabilized and progress resumed steadily without emotional dependence. The samurai discovered motivation followed movement rather than preceding effort as he assumed. Beginning practice generated energy, clarity, and focus that planning alone never produced. Action warmed the mind, reducing resistance and building confidence through direct experience daily. Waiting for motivation kept him stationary, while small actions created forward momentum quickly. Each completed repetition reinforced belief, making the next step easier to begin. Motivation emerged as a byproduct of consistency, not a prerequisite for starting. Through action, momentum replaced hesitation, and progress finally accelerated naturally. Kaizen teaches progress emerges from tiny improvements, repeated daily rather than dramatic breakthroughs sudden. The samurai focused on one small adjustment each session, trusting accumulation over time patiently. These minor gains felt insignificant, yet quietly compounded, reshaping skill identity and confidence steadily. Kaizen lowers resistance because change appears harmless, avoiding fear-based nervous system reactions internally. Tiny improvements bypass procrastination, allowing action without emotional negotiation or overwhelming pressure today consistently. Over months, repetition transformed effort into habit, making progress automatic and sustainable long-term naturally. Kaizen proved mastery grows from patience, precision, and persistence, applied gently every day forward. The samurai chose one simple daily drill, performed slowly with full attention. He repeated it each morning, regardless of results, mood, or perceived importance. Weeks passed and subtle improvements appeared unnoticed, yet reliably strengthening fundamentals underneath. That single practice expanded naturally, adding variations once the base felt stable. Mastery emerged not from effort spikes, but from accumulated familiarity and confidence. Small actions removed intimidation, allowing learning without fear or performance pressure daily. Over time, simplicity multiplied, creating depth, precision, and quiet excellence without force. Those who wait for motivation remain permanently at the starting line, watching others advance. Inaction preserves comfort but slowly erodes confidence, capability, and belief in personal agency. Days feel busy yet unchanged because preparation replaces exposure, effort, and measurable progress. Waiting creates stories, excuses, and rationalizations that protect ego while delaying growth indefinitely. Meanwhile, disciplined individuals accumulate advantages through repetition invisible to casual observers initially. The gap widens not through talent, but through consistent action versus prolonged hesitation patterns. Inaction feels safe temporarily but costs far more through missed potential and regret later. Planning feels productive because it avoids discomfort while maintaining the identity of ambition. Practice feels threatening because it exposes weakness, mistakes, and slow progress publicly visible. Preparation without execution becomes procrastination, disguised as responsibility, discipline, and foresight. The samurai learned maps never replace walking the path through repetition, experience, and effort. Skill grows only through contact with reality, not theories, schedules, or imagined scenarios. Each avoided practice session strengthened fear, while each attempt weakened it gradually over time. Truth emerged: clearly planning supports practice, but never substitutes the work itself. Laziness often hides fear of discomfort, uncertainty, judgment, and delayed rewards beneath surface. Avoidance protects the nervous system from stress, embarrassment, and unpredictable outcomes temporarily. Effort threatens identity by revealing limits, gaps, and inexperience that planning conceals safely. The samurai realized avoidance was not weakness, but self-protection misunderstood deeply. Fear delayed action by demanding certainty, comfort, and guarantees before movement began. Understanding fear softened resistance, allowing courage to emerge without forcing behavior harshly. When fear was acknowledged, action became possible without pretending confidence or motivation first. Discipline means acting even when resistance, fatigue, doubt, and reluctance appear strongly inside. It is not forcing perfection, but choosing movement despite imperfect conditions consistently daily. Discipline removes negotiation by deciding once, then executing, regardless of emotional weather. The samurai learned discipline protects energy by ending internal debates before action. Waiting for perfect moods wastes strength, while disciplined routines conserve focus and willpower. Through discipline, effort becomes simple, repeatable, and emotionally neutral over time, steadily. Acting despite resistance builds trust with oneself, strengthening identity through reliability. The samurai committed to daily practice, allowing commitments to guide behavior over emotions. Commitments remove choice, reducing dependence on fluctuating moods, motivation, and confidence levels. By honoring commitments, action became predictable, stable, and resistant to temporary feelings. Emotions were allowed but never permitted to decide whether training occurred daily. This philosophy freed mental energy once spent negotiating with comfort and avoidance impulses. Commitments created structure within which progress unfolded without dramatic effort or inspiration. Through commitment, destiny shifted quietly, shaped by repeated decisions honored consistently. True power emerges when action begins, without waiting for motivation, permission, or certainty. Destiny is shaped through habits repeated daily, not dreams, rehearsed endlessly inside minds. The samurai understood effort precedes confidence, clarity, and lasting motivation always. By acting, first identity reshapes, aligning ambition with behavior through practice. Waiting keeps life theoretical, while action transforms intention into lived reality steadily. Small disciplined actions accumulate, creating mastery, purpose, and self-trust over time. Act without waiting, and ambition finally becomes direction rather than fantasy.